Hey, welcome back to Paranoid Disposition, Episode 6.
I'm gonna let you finish, Beth, but I want to read a real quick quote by Diplo. All I know is don't ever get into a feud with Taylor Swift. She has like 50 million people that will die for her. You can't step into that arena. That was something I never was prepared for. One of the biggest mistakes in my career was definitely fucking with her.
I guess I should tell you that today we're talking about an online conspiracy that Taylor Swift is a Satanist.
All right, now let's take it back to the 80s real quick.
So I want to start off by talking about how Satanism really got ingrained into American culture, and that started with Satanic Panic. Satanic Panic was an episode in American history that can easily be compared to other instances of moral panic throughout human history.
Similar to the Salem witch trials?
Exactly, and the communism scare in the 1950s. And then in the 1980s, there was the fear of Satanism. While there is no actual evidence of the rise of Satanism throughout North America, fundamentalist Christians were convinced that there was. And boy, did they make it everybody else's problem. So, Satanic Panic really started with a book called Michelle Remembers.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was published in 1980, and it was a book that claimed to be the repressed memories of a young Michelle that she remembered through hypnosis with help of her psychiatrist, Lawrence Pazdar.
And later, husband.
Yes, they did get married. Kind of weird. So basically, she claimed that she had been the victim of satanic ritual abuse at the hands of her mother and her mother's friends that were in a satanic cult. Let it be noted that this book has been widely discredited, and investigations have found that none of these claims are true. But that didn't really matter because, I mean, people love a good, juicy story.
Yeah.
And they usually don't care if it's true, and that's really what happened in America in the 80s.
Along with cocaine.
Along with cocaine. These are kind of different people, though, because I'm talking about, like, fundamentalist Christians. Though, I mean, who knows? Maybe they were hitting the nose candy, too.
Just trying to come up with a witty remark, but I didn't have one.
So you didn't have one. Another thing that really, another thing that really helped the whole Satanic Panic of the 80s was...
The McMartin preschool case? Oh, no. Okay.
We weren't going there yet.
Jumping the gun.
Fucking
All right.
Alex, I made an outline, and he can't follow it. No, Zena LaVey and her father, Anton LaVey.
Oh, fuck. I wasn't going by the outline at all.
See
It's
what
right
I'm
in front
dealing
of
with?
me, too.
So they founded the Church of Satan. And so the father founded the Church of Satan.
Yes, Anton.
Anton LaVey, exactly. And the daughter was the high priestess.
From 1985 to 1989.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
And she was also the official spokesperson.
yes, she was, exactly. Her father, Anton, he refused to do interviews, and he really didn't want to be the front person. He really wanted to just be involved with the church. And he actually wrote the Satanic Bible, which sold a lot of copies and kind of made America go crazy, along with the Michelle Remembers stuff. So Zena, she would go on talk shows, and she would try and humanize Satanism because of what was going on.
I mean, it's also a really humanized religion, air quotes.
Well, yeah, why don't you tell me about LaVey Satanism?
About it?
Yeah.
All right. It's more about the concept of human nature, and the ideas are very prevalent with social Darwinism throughout the Satanic Bible. It is a religion based on the universal traits of man, and humans are described throughout as inherently carnal and animalistic. Each of the 7 deadly sins is described as part of the human's natural instinct, and thus advocated. So pretty much it's just telling you to give into your instincts.
Yeah, and do what makes you happy, basically.
Because the Bible pretty much tells you to suppress them.
Exactly.
Because it's wrong.
Yeah, and another thing is that, technically it's, atheism.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate the term atheist religion because atheism is not a religion.
Might as well just be agnostic.
But that's kind of what this is. I mean, it is like, I guess, a religion, but there is no God. Mm-hmm. They don't believe in Satan, which the name is super misleading.
Yeah, it's not an entity who literally exists.
Isn't it more like we are all God?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I think that the whole, like, giving into carnal desires and, like, just doing what makes you happy really plays into this whole 80s satanic panic, because while this was going on, there was, like, Reaganism going on. There was the fundamentalists, the evangelicals, and they were fighting so hard to hold on to what they considered as, you know, like, good and how, like, right.
The fight for good and evil.
Yeah, so it really was like a power struggle. And I think that they hated that people were talking about Satanism, and that, like, there were people who were saying, like, this isn't some evil thing. This is just, like, natural, and I don't think they liked how humanizing it was becoming. So another thing that was going on was that they suddenly started prosecuting a lot of child abuse cases.
Yes, this is when it actually became a big problem where...
Well, I mean, it was always a problem, but no one really took it seriously.
Yeah, they really started cracking down on it around this time.
Like, I mean, child abuse has always happened, obviously.
No way.
But they suddenly started cracking down on it. So now would you like to go into the McMarran preschool abuse?
Oh,
Alex.
Are we there?
Yes.
All right. So this happened in California. It was a daycare sexual abuse case. It was prosecuted by the Los Angeles District Attorney Ira Rayner. Mm-hmm. Members of the McMartin family who operated a preschool in California were charged with numerous acts of sexual abuse of children in their care. Accusations were made in 1983. Arrests in the pre-trial investigation ran from 1984 to 1987, and the trial from 1987 to 1990. And here's the thing. It cost $15 million.
Yeah, it was the longest and most expensive trial in American history at the time.
And everybody got off.
It was insane, yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, it all started from a single accusation of child abuse from a mother who is kind of sketchy.
Judy Johnson.
Like...
Who later, I believe, was diagnosed with
schizophrenia.
What is schizophrenia? Whoa.
Yeah, so she at the time, I guess they said that she was like manic depressive, but later she was diagnosed with schizophrenia and eventually committed suicide.
Ooh, I didn't read that.
Yeah,
part.
But so basically,
the Satanists put a curse on her.
So she wanted her child to go to this preschool, and they said that there wasn't room for her child. So what she ended up doing is she just, like, fucking dropped her kid off and split.
Wait, really?
Yes, and they were like, of course we have to let the kid be a part of the class for the day. That's how she got into the school. So then she starts saying, so, like, basically, like, it all started with child abandonment. Like, really, she should have been arrested. And so then, like, her son starts complaining of, like, painful bowel movements, and she, like, inspects him and thinks that there's, like, evidence of child abuse.
Wait, she inspected his butthole?
I mean, it's his kid, or her kid, of course.
That's nasty.
Don't have kids.
I never plan on it.
So
I like my money.
Then she went to the cops, and really it spiraled because they sent this, like, insane letter.
Yeah, I read it. I was like, really? You sent this out to the parents of your children?
Insane letter out to the parents, like all of the parents at the school.
We will post a link on the Facebook because it's really
you should read it.
That they actually sent that out.
Yeah, so there's like one claim of child abuse based on like an unreliable witness, and then suddenly they send out this letter and they start sending these kids to be interviewed.
Yeah, it was claimed that 360 children had been abused.
Yeah, so it went from 1 to 360. And how it happened is really, like, they would ask the kid to, like, imagine what may have happened, see Making a Murderer, Brendan Dassey. And it really was, like, coercion and like they forced the kids to make accusations. It's like, we're not letting you leave until you tell us what really happened. And the things they came out with were insane. They were talking about how the teacher was flying around the room
on a broomstick.
Yeah, on a broomstick. And then they were saying how there were like underground tunnels underneath,
which it turns out there never were.
No, there were no fucking tunnels, obviously. And we know okay. So they
about to say the
yes. Okay. So not only were there underground tunnels that they would go in to do their satanic rituals and their child abuse, there was also celebrities, one of which is Chuck Norris.
Why?
Because they showed the kids a bunch of pictures of celebrities. And they were like, point at one. I feel bad I'm laughing about this, but it's just so ridiculous.
Well, how about how they traveled in a hot air balloon?
Yeah, like apparently they were traveling all over California to go meet with celebrities to have sex with them.
Wait, and they. Why am I laughing? This is not funny.
I know, I feel bad.
Okay, straight face. They played a game called Naked Movie Star.
Yes, that's how the whole. Okay, wait. Well, it was like there was like a saying. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What do you say is what you are? You're a naked movie star.
Yeah, it was like a little saying they said in school, and it was supposed to be like sticks and stones.
Yeah.
Like it was like that kind of thing.
And it had nothing to have. It had
nothing to do with
having naked
celebrities
pictures
or
taken.
No, it had nothing to do with nudity or celebrities. But the interviewers took that little saying and turned it into this ridiculous thing. And that's really how the whole like celebrity like naked abuse thing started, was from that saying.
They also had orgies in car washes and airports.
Yeah, I mean that happens.
And the children were flushed down toilets to secret rooms where they were abused.
Yeah, it was like totally fucking Harry Potter. Do you think J.K. Rowling studied this case and that's where she got the idea?
That's the type of Hogwarts I want to go to. Don't want them to slither in me. Oh.
Well, that wasn't Hogwarts. That was the Ministry of Magic. I'm giving him my knowing Harry Potter look.
I'm sorry, I'm just a stupid muggle.
You are. So this whole... Okay, so the way that this whole McMarrin preschool thing plays into it, the whole satanic panic, is, you know, it started turning into, basically, there were satanic rituals going on with the kids. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like it played into a bigger fear at the time of women leaving their children at preschools and going to work. But suddenly there was all this guilt and fear, like parents or like women, don't leave your children because they'll get abused in satanic rituals.
I mean, it was the perfect storm of fear and anxiety.
Exactly. And you have to think about when this was, like the 1980s, when there was like a big power struggle going on with like women going back to work. And, you know, Reagan, you know. Reagan. So, yeah, it was really a power struggle with, like, fundamentalist Christians and people who wanted progress. And, I mean, progress is painful. Yeah. And that's really what the 80s shows you.
But also, this really plays into false memory syndrome.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, since, you know, they were pretty much telling the kid, like, they were planting seeds in the kids' minds, which is why some of these accusations are so ludicrous.
And you know what's really, I'll let you finish, but
yeah,
I'm going to let you finish. What's really sad is some of these kids still think that this happened because of this, because of the implanted memory syndrome. Like, they don't really understand. Like, they don't remember it, but they think it happened. Okay, so tell me more about that.
It's a condition in which a person's identity and relationships are affected by memories that are factually incorrect, but they strongly believe them.
Yeah.
It's not recognized as a real illness. However, the principle that memories can be altered by outside influences is overwhelmingly accepted by scientists.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated.
It's like the power of persuasion.
Yeah, the power of persuasion, but it is complicated because people can repress memories. Like, that is a thing that happens. So,
I mean, it
gets tricky.
When I was looking into this, it kind of reminded me of, like, MK Ultra, like, kind of like molding their mind.
Yeah, only that wasn't actually happening here.
I'm just saying, like, they were... I just feel like with all the fear, they told these kids things
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they see their parents like freaking out and their parents telling them like, we know something happened, just tell us.
So it makes them think something happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is
so sad. Like imagine being an adult and being 360 kids were involved in this.
That's like a kid a day. Oh, God.
Well,
what?
That was a weird thing to say, bro. Also, there are more.
You made a child molestation joke a few episodes ago. Why can't I? Ew, why? No, I don't like this game.
So I was talking about how satanic panic, progression and change, like that was a big struggle. Another thing that was going on was pop culture. Suddenly, 80s like heavy metal and horror movies, like The Exorcist came out in the 70s.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, like suddenly it was like so popular. So again, the fundamentalists used Satanism and told parents, like, if your kid listens to heavy metal or watches horror movies, then they're, like, going to be drug addicts and be a part of satanic rituals. Like, it really spiraled like crazy.
It's funny. I was watching an interview with Xena and,
Xena LeVay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it was her boyfriend was on the show with her? Or somebody that else. No, it wasn't. It was, who was it?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember.
The guy that was with her was talking about how bad rock and roll was and how it
Oh, that was the priest that wrote a book about? Yes.
That's
it was like
what it was.
It was like a priest who said that like he hung out with Satanists and then he wrote a book about how evil it was. And they went on this talk show with like the two of them debating with Xena. And she was like, you've obviously never met a Satanist because none of this is true. Like she was basically saying it's all fear mongering and like obviously you're a priest, so you have a reason to try and like make people think this is evil.
But it was also in the 80s that they started putting the parental advisory warnings on CDs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And that was, like, another thing is, like, if there are parental advisories on your CD, it's Satan music. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I do want a little quote here from 1992. An FBI agent, Kenneth Lanning, he wrote a report on satanic ritual abuse, and he said that the entire phenomenon was not credible. In quotes, hundreds of communities all over America are run by mayors, police departments, and community leaders who are practicing Satanists and who regularly murder and eat people? Not likely.
Yeah.
That's not happening. Like, this whole thing is made up. Like, yes, there are Satanists, but this is not actually what they're doing.
I was watching this video. It was, they made it for cops back in the 80s. And
I watched part of that.
It's just so ridiculous. This guy's like, this mushroom right here. This is what it means. And I'm just like, somebody just drew that. That has nothing to do with Satanism.
Yeah, it was like total, like, police propaganda. I mean, yeah. I mean, the truth is, like, it wasn't happening. People were freaking out over nothing. People were believing these priests and these insane books like Michelle Remembers.
Just shows how easy it is to start a witch hunt.
True. And I mean, I really do think it's interesting to think about like how satanic panic really is like the Red Scare in the 50s and like witch hunts in the 17th century. Like, I mean, it really is like the same kind of like moral panic.
Yeah.
That it gets people all crazy, even though like really nothing's happening. Like,
did you do any? Did you look into the West Memphis 3 at all?
I mean, I know about the West Memphis 3. I know that there's some like. Well, tell me about it.
Well, I only have a few notes from it, but these three men were tried and convicted as teenagers in 1994. In 1993, they murdered 3 boys in West Memphis, Arkansas. And supposedly, it was, they believed that they were killed as part of a satanic ritual.
But, like, wasn't the only evidence is, like, they wore heavy metal shirts or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, I read about this case that happened in Texas. I think it was the 90s, late 80s. And it was this guy who... his house burns down with his wife and kids inside. It was super tragic. But they start thinking that he was responsible for the fire because he had Iron Maiden posters. I'm not kidding. Yes. because
Witch
he
hunt.
liked heavy metal, they were like, well, he might be evil, he might be a Satanist, and you know what? They killed him. Like,
Wait, really?
He was executed in Texas. And it's widely believed he's innocent. And there have been, like, what are they called?
Firing squad?
No, fire people. Like,
Firemen?
no, people that study fires.
Pyro...
No, not pyrotechnics, because that's different. Okay, the people that come into crime scenes that have fires and they can, like, tell you about how the fire got started and stuff.
I'm sure somebody out there knows.
I'm sorry. Okay, so those people, like, a bunch of people came in and said this was, like, an accident.
Like
he didn't
electrical fire
start
or
it.
something.
Yeah, I mean, like, one person at the time when he was, like, arrested said that it had been started by him. But they've had a bunch of other people come in and look at the evidence, and he's innocent. And he died.
this is when
because
it
it
was
was
too late.
Texas. It was also
Yeah,
Texas,
'cause
which is really big
Texas-
on the death penalty.
Yep. They're really kill happy over there.
And what's his face? Some evil Republican guy. They tried to get him to, like...
Ted Cruz?
No, earlier. They tried to let him, like... What's it called? Their conviction.
I don't understand your arm gestures. Looks like you're rowing a boat.
You know how, like, governors can... oh, my God.
We even have an outline.
A stay of execution.
Oh, okay. There we go.
This is what happens when I go off book. Okay, so now that we've explained satanic panic and my mind has gone blank enough on, like, while we're recording,
Well, how about we talk about your favorite person in the world?
how about we do it?
All right. Well, what's this little lady's name?
Well, it's a little lady, T-Swizzle, as I like to call her, Taylor Swift. So I should say, yes, I love Taylor Swift. We've gone through
insanely in love with.
We've gone through some tough times lately. We've kind of been on a break.
Oh, because of that whole
We've been talking a
Kim
little
K
bit.
debacle.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit lately. I do feel betrayed by her.
I remember when that came out. As soon as I watched the video, the first thing I did was text you to see how you were doing.
Yeah, I actually cried watching the Kim K video. Like, I'm not kidding. I went to my parents and I was so upset. Because, okay, I should say, I fucking love Kanye West and I love Kim Kardashian. So that's what made it so hard. I've been a Kanye West fan since before I was a Taylor fan. And when all this happened, I was so mad at him. I, like, felt guilty whenever I listened to The Life of Pablo. So you have to understand, like, this was hard on me.
I mean, I remember you said it was like your best friend betrayed you.
Yeah, that's how
you
it
worded
felt. Like, I felt like she lied to us. And I know she has her own story for why. And I just realized, like, if you don't know what we're talking about, shut up. If you don't know what we're talking about, just look up Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, pause this, and then come back.
Hashtag snake emoji.
So anyways,
And she rolls her eyes at me.
So, I mean, I still love her. And I think that I'll fall back in love with her when her new album comes out. I think that'll, like, bring us back together. But for now, we're so-so.
So.
Yeah, that's where our relationship
Never,
is.
ever getting back together.
Well, that's not true. So why don't you tell us about the link?
Actually, I have one. I have a nice little segue from our whole Satanism to
go
Taylor
for it.
Swift thing. Okay, well, do you remember how I said how Xena stopped in her last time she spoke about Satanism was in 1990, but she stopped being the spokesperson in 1989.
Yeah.
And that was also the year that Taylor was born.
1989.
Yeah.
I thought you said 1999.
Oh.
But it is 1989. Sorry. Yes. Ooh. Oh my. That's suspicious. So like she died?
No, she didn't.
Exactly.
Well, but she passed on.
Okay.
The mantle.
Didn't she become like a Buddhist and
She
like?
created her own religion.
Yeah, but I heard
believe.
that it was like kind of like Buddhism. Like she's not a Satanist anymore.
Yeah, because
Xena.
she passed down the high priestess to good old T Wizzle, but she went on to
It's T Swizzle, dude.
Well, I don't.
Wizzle doesn't make any sense.
Can you tell I'm not a Taylor fan, everybody?
It's a really tough point in our relationship.
She started something called the Scythian Liberation Movement, or SLM. She founded it in 2002. But
yes.
Anyway, okay,
She's the spiritual leader of that.
Yeah.
She's like a tantric Buddhist and animal rights activist now. And she's in Berlin.
And she's a musician and author.
Yeah, she's a musician too.
Yeah, tantric Buddhist and spiritual leader.
Yeah, and I think now she lives in Berlin.
But anyway, okay, so we were segueing over to Taylor Swift.
The connection. Waiting for it.
Well, I just gave the connection.
Oh, right.
Well, how about you? I really did no research on Taylor because I don't want to bore myself. So,
you want me to just tell you about Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay, so Taylor Swift was born on December 13th, 1989 in Reading, Pennsylvania. And no, I'm not reading from notes, which is actually kind of close to us, Reading, Pennsylvania. I used to go to World War II reenactments in Reading. And that's where her parents' Christmas farm was, where she grew up.
A Christmas farm?
Because she had the cutest fucking childhood, privileged white person childhood ever. Yeah, she grew up on a Christmas tree farm. And then when she was 11 or 12, she convinced her parents to move to Nashville, Tennessee. Because
I thought she was 14. And
I was guessing. I didn't know the exact year that they moved. I thought it was earlier than... I thought she was 11 or 12 when they moved. It doesn't matter.
Swift moved to Nashville, Tennessee at age 14 to pursue her career in country music. She signed with independent label Big Machine Records. Her father purchased a 3% stake in the fledgling company at an estimated cost of $120,000 and became the youngest artist to sign with Sony ATV.
Why are you talking? Why are you talking? I'm supposed to be doing this part. Ugh. Yeah, so she went around in her cute little blonde curls with a demo CD around Nashville, and everybody slammed their door in their faces. So fuck y'all. You see how far that got you. And so she did get a publishing deal with a company, but it was just to write. It wasn't actually to put on an album. Yeah. And so that was about to expire, and she met with the head of Big Machine Records, which they weren't even a company yet. They were just about to start. Yeah. And it was a huge risk.
She was one of the first people they signed, right?
Yeah, with Scott Borchetta. And I
want some bruschetta.
Borchetta. So it was a huge risk because she already had a deal that she could have renewed, but basically they told her, we want to wait until you're older to actually put music out, the other company. So, which I think was RCA Records, I think.
And I know Borchetta, he got some flack because people really disliked the fact that he signed a 16-year-old singer-songwriter at as one of their first.
Yeah, I mean, it was a risk. It was a risk for Taylor. It was a risk for Big Machine Records.
But they found an unknown market.
Yes, they did.
Teenage girls who listen to crappy country music.
So, I think we all know where she went from there.
I'm going to be murdered after this episode.
She came out with her first album, Taylor Swift, which did okay. And then, but her real big hit was Fearless, which blew up. In my best dress.
Okay. I'm just shrugging.
I'm not going to keep singing. And she did get a lot of criticism. So when she was going to come out with another album, people kept saying basically you're a cute teenage girl, there's no way you're writing your own music. Because that was the big thing about Taylor, is she's a singer-songwriter. Selena Gomez, Katy Perry, they're singers.
Okay, that is one thing I'll give Taylor Swift. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, but I do respect the fact that she does write her own music.
Yeah, so people said, there's no way that you're writing your own music after Taylor Swift and Fearless. So when she was coming out with Speak Now, she wrote the entire thing by herself to prove all the haters wrong.
Haters gonna hate.
That's true. And on that album was the song Mean, which, was about, a reporter who had written this really mean thing about how her voice cracked when she was singing with Stevie Nicks.
Even though it turns out that she's really the mean one.
Shut up. She's not mean. Do you know that she's the most charitable celebrity?
Watch out for the Regina George in sheep's clothing.
Do you know that she's been, donating, hundreds of thousands of dollars to Louisiana, state flood, just this year? She's donated hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
And there's a Taylor Swift education center in Nashville.
Okay.
But no one ever talks about that. They talk about, oh, she went to Drake's party, so obviously they're dating.
Wait, who?
Have you heard that?
Well,
Drake.
She dates everybody.
Okay, but she literally just went to his birthday
And then
party.
she writes songs about them that are really mean.
And she makes a fuck ton of money and makes our hearts sore.
But then she makes them sign non-disclosure agreements that they can't talk bad about her afterwards, and they can't reveal anything about her. But she can go off and write songs about everything.
Where'd you learn that?
I read it online.
A source?
Yeah.
A source? You can't fucking
I'll send it
sources. No, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't believe anything unless one of her friends says it, her publicist says it, or she says it.
Well, her friends can't because they signed them too. And they have to stand a few feet away from her and can't dress as nice as she can.
That is ridiculous. She's best friends with Selena Gomez.
But she has to stand 5 feet behind her.
Oh my God. You're insane. I think it's because Taylor's the tallest, so she walks faster.
Well, shouldn't the tall people be in the back so you can see the short ones?
No, short people walk. This is the dumbest argument ever. Oh my gosh, we're so sidetracked. So anyways, everyone knows who Taylor Swift is. She's extremely talented. Hopefully going to come out with her 6th album soon.
Oh, I also have one more quote by Diplo.
Go for it.
Taylor Swift is very strategic with her friends and enemies, he said. And I know lots of secrets. I can't divulge, but I know a lot of stuff about her, and I'm scared. I'm scared for my life.
I feel like we should explain why Diplo was saying this. He tweeted a picture of Taylor Swift and said, like, when are we going to start a GoFundMe account to get this girl an ass?
Didn't she get ass implants? I saw something about that earlier this year.
No. If anything...
Like, that booty got plump.
She may have gotten breast implants, but that's it. She did not get an ass implant.
Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere.
Kylie Jenner got an ass implant. Taylor did not. Anyways. So, yeah, Diplo was a jerk, and all of her fans went after him. And, I mean, I don't condone death threats.
Oh, yeah, he got tons of those.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it got pretty... Yeah. Anyways, why don't you explain how this ties into our subject?
All right. Well, as we talked before about Xena, if you put their pictures side by side, they look identical.
They both have blonde hair. They have very similar arching eyebrows, and their lips. Their lips are very similar.
Like, I'm sure if you put
a nose.
Like, if you, overlap them, it's perfect match.
We'll Instagram and Facebook pictures side by side so you can see. So you want to tell me anything else about her links to Xena LeVay? Exactly. The only evidence that she is okay, we didn't even explain what the theory is. The theory is that she's either a reincarnation of Xena LeVay or she's her child.
Oh yeah.
Reincarnation, clone, child is really what I've heard.
Supposedly celebrity cloning farms are real to make sure the truly most beloved stars don't die an untimely death.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about in a future episode. We're going to talk soon about someone who may have been cloned.
God, there are so many.
So many. So really the only evidence that they're the same person is that they look similar.
Yeah, that's really all there is to this theory.
But the best part is that, like the JonBenet Ramsey, Katy Perry thing, real, truthers, real conspiracy people, thinks that this was another conspiracy theory made up to make conspiracy theorists look bad. Because, it's so dumb. Like the Katy Perry, JonBenet. Though the JonBenet, Katy Perry thing has more evidence than this.
Yeah, I mean, this is
that's more plausible.
I mean, I do like my theory that she passed down the high priestess after she quit the church, and then all of a sudden Taylor Swift was born. With this Satanist crown on her head.
I mean, there is... the truthers, they don't believe that she is Xena LeVay or reincarnation, clone, whatever. They think that she's just a witch in her own right. Have you seen this?
No.
I found this YouTube page, which I fucking hate this guy because he's very, fundamentalist, Christian, anti-gay, transphobic, terrible person. He was complaining that there's a cover boy. He was like, boys in makeup? I felt bad giving him views, but I want
to punch people in the face.
I know, me too. So but I wanted to hear his take on Taylor. and he thinks that she's a satanic witch.
His take.
He thinks, like, I mean, we were talking in the MK Ultra episodes, because that's really what this ties into, is that, like, she's a part of the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah.
But she is a witch. Like, an Illuminati witch. Because apparently those exist. And, of course, he had to remind us that we should not feel bad for her because she chose this life. Like, she sold her soul to the devil so she could be a pop star.
No, I think her parents just bought her a deal.
I hate you. So of course there is
have so many Taylor Swift fans coming after me.
Symbolism that I would like to discuss, like with MK Ultra. If you look at, you know, her performing, her albums, her music videos, etc., you see her doing the rock on sign, which conspiracy theorists call devil horns. You know, you see her putting one hand over her eye, doing the all-seeing eye, which represents that Satan is always watching you. You see butterflies, and then there's also bird cages in some of her album artwork, and also on tour as like the background in the tour. They're, yes, I know from personal experience, bird cages, and they're supposed to represent that she is like in a cage and being controlled. And he did want to say that, like, she's not the one putting this symbolism in her work. It's her handlers. It's like her handlers, it's almost like they're telling other Illuminati people. It's like, hey.
Who are her handlers?
I guess you could say Scott Borchetta, maybe her parents. Maybe her parents are really her parents. I mean, her mom's at every single one of her concerts. So maybe she's a handler. I've met her mom, by the way, and I've hugged her. And I've touched Taylor's arm, so she's real.
Are you sure she's not a hologram?
I'm sure. I'm sure. Another thing is that there are mirrors, like in the Style music video. Yeah. She's actually holding a mirror over one of her eyes, so it's like, and it's like, and the mirror is in the shape of a triangle, so it's like triple symbolism, like all-seeing eye, triangle, which is Illuminati, obviously, and then the mirror is supposed to represent the gateway to the other side, because apparently mirrors can bring ghosts over. So, like, this...
They can bring goats over?
Shut up. This brand of, like, Illuminati conspiracy theory is less... I mean, yes, the government's involved, but it's more spiritual, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, it's not so much... Like, there is, like, otherworldly stuff involved, basically. Because, you know, they're not serving the government, they're serving Satan. Another thing that this guy was harping on about is the Out of the Woods song. Mm-hmm. He's saying that the Out of the Woods, like, are we out of the woods yet? Are we in the clear yet? And also, in the music video, she's actually, like, running through the woods. It's supposed to symbolize that witches and the Illuminati are finally stepping into the forefront. It's like, are we out of the woods yet? Are we in the clear yet? Can we tell people?
So Satanic Panic was real.
Exactly! Ah!
It's all connected.
They were getting us ready.
And now everybody's leaving Christianity in drones.
Yep.
So it only makes sense.
Yep.
So, it's for sure. Taylor Swift is the high priestess of Satanism.
Yeah.
For realsies.
Duh. It's so obvious.
Just look at them.
Just look at them.
They're the same person.
They're the same person.
Except Zena LeVay is 52 years old and living in Berlin now.
Yep. So, Taylor, I love you. Don't sue us for talking about you. I will defend you until the day I die. I know I've said some cross words, but I'm still loyal.
Taylor, I'm indifferent about you. I have respect for you, but I also think that you are cold, manipulative. Beth is looking at me like she's about to stab me in the face. So
Taylor's one of the nicest celebrities ever. I'm just going to start, like, sending you articles every day about how charitable she is.
I'm going to send you articles every day about shit that she's done.
But, like, my shit is more reliable. Yours are from sources. So, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, yeah. Did you know that Anton LaVey once had a tryst with Marilyn Monroe?
No, I think you mean Marilyn.
What did I say?
Marlin?
I don't.
He's drank a whole pot of coffee today. So wait, he hooked up with Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah, back in the 30s.
So was Marilyn Monroe? Well, no, was this before he started the Satanist thing?
Yeah, and it was before she was famous.
Oh, so it was when she was. What's her? I'm trying to remember her name. Her real name.
I don't know, but we can cover that in her episode.
Oh well, yeah, we have to do that.
That's all, folks.
So is that Xena's mom? They kind of look similar.
No, because she wasn't born until like 20, 30 years later. And they didn't have test tube babies back then.
Gestational elephant. That's still not long enough. Whatever. An elephant's gestation. I'm watching Gilmore Girls, sorry. Anyone who watches Gilmore Girls will know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what she's talking about. Help me. Well, I do also want to add that you look... Beth is wearing a very witchy costume today.
Okay, I'm dressed as a witch to pay homage to the Satanic Queen, Taylor Swift. Is that where you're going?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, well...
I'm looking for my coven.
I have nothing more to add.
Okay. Well, we would like to know, what do you think? Do you think Taylor Swift is a satanic witch?
I do.
If so, tweet us at Paranoid Dispo, hashtag Satanic Panic Taylor.
That's a like hashtag, but it works for me.
Okay, cool.
Good thing we don't use T9 anymore.
Please follow us at Paranoid Disposition on Facebook and Instagram.
And we're also on Tumblr.
Oh,
which
yeah.
we never...
Tumblr, we need to get Tumblr
We never
going.
advertised, but
I should
we're on there too.
We're on there too. And you can follow our personal accounts. I'm Chronically Enchanted.
And I'm Alex Smith.
And this was Paranoid Disposition.
Keep an open mind.
But don't be an idiot. Bye.